AC's just started, so there has been competitive regions playing on this new season, but for anyone who isn't familiar, junglers have pets, Chemtech's back, so the rift changes, there's mutated plants, which is pretty cool. Cassante, you will be seeing him, so get used to seeing him. Turrets give more gold, but they're harder to kill. Ward pings, you will see a lot of that because it shows permanently on the map where a ward is in the timer of that, which is a very exciting competitive addition. And for no particular reason, I wrote a bunch of different items underneath Juxshow, but they're all separate items that have existed now between seasons. So that's just my inability to write things coherently. So that's why it's a rambling, I would say.
Congratulations.
I'm going to fix it.
Now, anything else you want to touch on before we move on? Or have you touched on everything? What
That'll
about that
do.
red circle, Cassante?
He exists. I didn't circle it. Just to be clear.
well,
Can't do that in Word docs very well, but
Uh,
it's exciting.
arguable.
Cassante, I would like to see mid is the last thing I'll say.
Oh.
I think he's one of the best flexes that I haven't seen flexed yet.
Silas 2.0.
Well, set 2.0.
I
Set
guess so.
reality,
Yeah, sure.
I guess we'll see if that one happens. But let's jump on into the patch notes for 13.1. That's where we're going to be. And look, Cassante, he's already receiving a nerf. Kitty, tell me, what are the big changes coming through on these champs?
The big changes. Well, everyone in the entire world is celebrating with the Yuumi in the nerfed column, but unfortunately, she only received a 50 damage reduction on her Q. And same goes with Zeri, where her Q was slightly reduced in terms of damage. Cassante did also get a little bit less in terms of his numbers when it comes to his abilities. But moving on to buffs, because this is the most exciting one, right? We have Jace coming in, Lissandra, and we have also Shaco, which now we only have 2 Shaco players in the LCO, being Poltron and Gooby, who is going to be making his debut tonight. But yeah, I really want to see a lot of Lissandra. Her Q got an extra slow, and her W also, the CD was reduced by, I believe, a second. But with the tenacity nerfs, which will be coming in very soon, I think Lissandra will be a very popular pick for all these professional teams. But Jace got an overall damage buff, and I think Jace has been creeping back into the meta, but with this buff, he's definitely going to become a very staple pick for all these compositions. But have to highlight the purple monster in Adjusted, which is Jax. He has been adjusted by Riot, where his ultimate has been changed for the stacking, where it went from 2 stacks to 3 stacks. No, sorry, it went from 3 to 2, sorry.
Empowered autos more often.
Yeah, empowered autos more often, so he's going to do a lot of bonking in that top lane. And I'm excited to watch because I want to see more Jax in this game.
Are we going to see Rammus competitively?
Yes, mate.
All right, you heard it here
Thanksgiving.
first.
Thanks,
We'll see
In
you
the
at
Mac,
Rammus.
in the Mac show match, whenever that
I
happens.
can't wait.
Yes,
I
mate.
absolutely can't wait. Let's see if that one happens. But look, let's have a look at some of the system changes, some of the item changes coming through, as well as those runes too. Now, the protein shake, it's had a bit of a shake-up. You already touched on that one, Rusty.
Yeah.
Do you buy that at all?
Yeah, I do actually,
good.
after every workout. But namely, this got nerfed because they think it's a little bit too strong on bruises. They want it to be a specific tank item. Now, I don't think that has removed the item at all.
Yeah.
I think that it's just going to continue to be strong on bruises because it still does the same thing. The other big change that I want to talk about before Kitty jumps in as well is I think Axiom Arc, being an 18 lethality item, puts it on par with Ghostblade, which is the only 2 lethality items in the game that provide an overwhelming amount of lethality. So there is a world that it could exist, but it's so champion specific that it's pretty unlikely.
Nocturne?
Nocturnal Bust, isn't it, really?
Kiana,
Yeah.
Zed, but he goes Ravenous more now because that item's a bit turbo broken.
Yeah, and following up with your point, my 2 items have to be Rod of the Ages and Seraph's Embrace. They both got adjusted or changed for 13.1, where Rod of the Ages got an overall stats upgrade, and you receive more health and mana regen. But also, of course, you always had that plus level 1 from the 10 stacks. But that also means Cassidon, Rise, and Cassiopeia can come back into the meta. Seraphs, of course, received a slight buff where you get a shield now, but those 2 items together have been dominating across the entire world.
It's like shield bow, isn't it? Now you get the shield with it. It's quite nice. But I think those 2 items together, you're best in slot. That's all you need, you're best. You don't need any more items. I said to you, you literally cannot lose, but you said that people still have lost from that point in the game, so I'm a little bit
It's
upset.
not enough.
If we got Cass coming back, I specifically remember a little bit of Chaz on the
Oh,
Cass.
he
I
looks a
remember
bit of-
Fido?
That's a little bit Cass.
Fido on the other Cass as well.
Yes, mate.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see how that one evolves. But look, let's put our money where our mouths are. It's time for our power rankings. How we think this split's going to unfold. Just looking at all the teams, looking at all the new players, new lineups.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
right.
What have we got
Yeah,
going
right.
on? Rusty leaked his on Twitter earlier, but
mean
I'm just
posted?
glad we don't have any that are exactly the same.
How's that possible? Also,
That's
that tall,
true.
handsome man down the bottom will be joining us on the LCO
He
at
is
some
very
stage.
tall
and
Let's just
handsome.
point that
Max, he's not here today, but he'll be here eventually.
He'll be here soon.
Yep.
Now, who wants
What
to,
have we
who wants to
got?
talk about theirs first? I'll talk about
Yeah,
mine.
you'll talk about
Yeah,
it.
please do.
Why not Supremacy? So
Oh.
he's finally unleashed,
Okay.
finally put on a main roster, and I'm really just enjoying every individual on that Bliss lineup,
Okay.
as well as my boy Ben down bot. So look, he stole my heart when he was playing for Kanga last year, and I definitely am just going to be, #1 Bliss fan for at least the moment. So let's see how this first game of the day goes. With Chiefs in second, I feel like they're looking really good. PGG. I put PGG there before I actually noticed that Winter got changed to Dongy. I didn't
Yeah.
notice it was the same person, and now I know. I'm very happy that I've got him there in third.
I have bigger questions for you, Mac.
Yes.
The fifth position is Direwolves.
Mhm.
That's 3 of Pensonet's MSI competing roster.
It is, but they're both.
Behind Ground Zero,
Uh-huh.
which is...
Bulldog. The dog. Yep.
So you're saying the
Young
Bulldog Dante
up-and-comers.
is better than Decoy Praedith?
Yeah. Let's go with that. That's what I'm
Okay.
thinking.
Fair
I did
enough.
hear as well that hyperscaling carries were kind of like shifting away a little bit from the ADC role, which means Praedith's not as impactful because that's where he shines.
Hey, buffs Limas for your first prediction as well.
It is
Lucian
Lucian.
player.
It is Lucian, yeah.
So I guess we'll see how it unfolds. But that's mine. Kitty, take us through yours.
Yeah, so I noticed that I'm the only one that put PGG in first place. The other 3 have put Chiefs in first, which,
Yep.
fair enough because they have been dominating the past year with their old lineup. But Fire coming back. I'm going to say he has a 100% win rate in the domestic titles. So what's stopping him from coming first once again in the
Okay.
regular split?
The Chiefs.
And I don't want that to happen. So I'm just sniffing hard copium right
Okay.
now. And I want Fire to win
That's a fair
once
prediction.
again.
Leaving the hype. I like that.
All I'm saying is maybe I didn't put the Chiefs a little bit higher because you 3 got flown to their house. I didn't, and I might have a little bit of
Okay.
thorn there, but that's all right. That's all right, guys. Skimmy, any thoughts on yours?
Just running it back, split 2 of LCO last year. I think Chiefs and Pentanet won a league of their own. I know they had a bit of a rivalry where they were avoiding each other in their scrims, and then it basically gave us that insane matchup. They're having it now. I know, saw it on Twitter before. So I'm thinking it's a 2-legged race for those 2 big boys. I think third is a solid Direwolves for me. I think from that point onwards, it's a little bit whoever shows up on the day, whatever the meta's looking like, whoever decides that they want to be an absolute turbo smurf. And yeah.
And then Rusty, why are you right?
I'm just always right, mate. Never been wrong.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't know.
Except for all those times I was wrong.
I'm thinking about split
I've
one
been wrong a lot.
last year. Split one last year. Do you remember when Order? Someone picked them first. Who was? Oh, that was me.
Oh, true.
That was me. My
Ah.
power rankings, they were dope last year. That's all I'm saying.
To be fair, I genuinely struggled really hard from 4th to 6th place because I think teams like Kanga, GZ, and Bliss are so unpredictable with
Yeah.
all the new faces coming into the league. So
Yeah.
I genuinely struggled, but I think those 3 teams can be placed either where in that middle of the pack.
Agreed.
I certainly
Yep.
can. Now, I'm happy to keep moving the show forward. I'm happy to hear from you guys at home, from the fans. It's back this year. And guess what? At LCO, it's the same Twitter tag. Make sure you send your tweets in there, or at least tag us in your own tweets so we can see what you guys have been up to today at home, watching the show. It's 2023. We're still on Twitch. We're still having fun. And it's actually a pretty, reasonable day. So, you're not going to be sweaty. You're not going to be looking too flustered or whatever. I want to see how you're watching the show. I'm going to show you how I'm watching the show at some point backstage in the green room. Me and Kitty, of course, kicking our feet up while these two
If you
take you
weren't
through
here,
on the
Matt.
cast.
Yeah, we watch from here.
If you weren't here, Mac, would you be watching this in the gym right now?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have
Yeah.
to be here because I'm the host.
I'm just wondering, whoever is out there watching the show right now, maybe somebody's on the beach, somebody's at a party.
Show us your squat
Somebody's
form.
here, somebody's at the gym.
Show us your squat form. I
Keep
found out
watching at
one
the
of my
gym.
glutes is slightly low. Anyway, let's talk about the first matchup of the day. That's Bliss up against
Yep.
Chiefs. And we're going to have a quick look in at the Bliss lineup because there's some familiar faces. There's some newer faces as well with Daystar coming in. Benvi, he was there last year. Lemus as well. You know what he's capable of on a good day. Why not? A name that's thrown around for good and bad reasons a lot of the time. Very vocal on Twitter. I'm a big Why Not fan myself. And Lived, of course, coming on in. Pretty damn solid in the top lane. Who wants to tell me about Bliss and how they're going to go?
I'll talk about Bliss. A couple of things. First and foremost, they are a Brisbane-based organisation. They've been boot camping as well up in Brisbane. The person who was on your screen just then lived. I believe he was more part-time last year as a player. But I think with things like the boot camp and a new team, maybe he is going to take it a little bit more seriously. And we know what Lived is capable of when he does. Joined by Wynot, who is, frankly speaking, a young mechanical player who's never had his chance to shine. Is going to be joined by Daystar, who, to put it simply, from what I have seen from the tape, freak of nature. Like, I think top 2 mid laner in the league, and I haven't seen him play a game yet.
I'm keen because I was watching the match fix and they were saying that they don't know about how this mid lane matchup's going to go for a lot of these players because some people are, fresh-faced. We don't even know, when Peace finally get to play, like, what's their mid lane going to be? Anyway, conversation for another time. Kitty, what are your thoughts on Bliss?
Well, first of all, they're boys in pink. Very, very lovely.
Stylish.
Their logo is very, very cute. But yeah, like Rusty said, Daystar is definitely someone to watch out for. I think he is such a mechanical player when it comes to those duels in the mid lane. And with the meta currently being heavily centered around mages, apparently, according to Rusty, he has a huge champion pool as well. So I have high expectations for him. And from what I saw in solo queue, yeah, like, once again, freak of nature. He can absolutely duel anyone. But Kisei is a potential challenge for him when it comes to being the best mid lane for OCE.
That's very true. And you mentioned Kisei because let's have a quick look at the Chiefs. Let's look at what they're bringing in. The reigning champions from 2023. They've even picked up Bio now that he's not playing for any other teams. Babip returning into the jungle. Kisei picking up a pretty heavy hole that was left at mid from their previous mid laner, of course, Rip Tally. And then we got Raze and Aladoric. So down in that bot lane, looking to have a little bit of fun yet again.
They are, yeah. So Raze and Aladoric, the surviving duo of last year of that championship roster built around them. Kisei coming in to fill the void left by Tally, who's had a phenomenal career. I think they had actually a very similar champion pool. I think the one thing that Kisei has over Tally is he plays a lot of those explosive assassins. That, for me, says that he would be the best player based on historical evidence to sort of take up the reins. Bio, obviously, former teammate there with Kisei, so they already know each other's synergies inside out from a solo lane perspective. And Babip, I mean, it's almost one of those ideas, right, where you're a coach, you're preaching all these ideas to your team, and you're saying, hang on a minute, I can just do this myself. I'm coming back, I've got X amount of titles behind me. We don't count the one that he got as a coach, but like this guy's a very successful individual. And for Biopanther, he's been to MSI, 2 years in a row? He'll be looking to make it a third this year.
And I also need to highlight that this team as a combination has at least 13 titles under their name. So they're obviously coming in as the super team and theoretically supposed to be the winners of Split 1. But we'll have to see.
No Tapoon. But
No
Bio,
Tapoon. I do
miss
Bio's a
Tapoon.
pretty good
I mean, this
top
is
laner.
shorter.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, these are the finalists. Like, all of these players were on the stage finals at DreamHack last year. So this is, the combination of Order and Chiefs into another super team.
Another super
If
team,
the Chiefs
for
were a
sure.
super team, this is another super team.
Yeah, I'm keen to see the return of Kisei to Chiefs as well, how he operates with the rest of the players on this roster, because he was explosive. There was points where he could, get a little bit too happy with his gameplay in mid lane, but then there was some points where, he'd sort of exist and do his job and, learn a lot. But now he's on Chiefs, and a lot of people, Rusty, you in particular, you're putting him right at the top of those power rankings, so you must have a lot of faith in him to do that role as a mid laner.
Without a doubt. And I think it's also because he has someone like Babip in the wings as a jungler. Like, it's very easy to be an assassin or even aggressive mid laner when you have faith in your jungler's ability to not just play their path, but control the enemy jungler's pathing as well, by Panther able to play for lanes as well very nicely. So looking forward to seeing exactly what Kisei can do when it comes to playing out this season as a result of just the team around him.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, Babip, of course, is going to be up against the young gun, the mechanics maxer, the lawnmower, some call him. We got one on the line. Glad you're not outside at the moment, or that could be a little bit too loud. But look, how are you doing? Welcome to the LCO. Finally, you're not a sub anymore. You're a core roster player. How are you feeling going into your first game, Warner?
Hey, Mac. I'm feeling pretty good, honestly. Today's been a bit of a jumble of nerves, excitement. I'm ready to hit the rift finally. Ready to mow some lawns, hopefully. And honestly, I'm just super excited to be kicking off LCO. LCO starting again. I love watching it. And this year I get to enjoy playing in it. It's a privilege. And I'm just super excited to get into this game and really show the LCO and any new fans, what Bliss has and what we have to offer.
Yeah, really great. And I'm excited for your debut as well, but let's touch on a little bit about your team because we have a lot of new faces coming onto Team Bliss, and Team Bliss being a new organization in general, but we have lived, I believe it was Daystar, Limas, and Benvi. Tell us a little bit about your team and specifically this Korean import that we have in the mid lane.
Yeah, for sure. It's an interesting roster. A lot of people coming in from Kanga last year, if you watched, 2022 LCO and lived, and we also have Benvi and Limas. I think it was super lovely having that Brisbane boot camp to get to know the team, meet everyone in person, train together for about a week and a half, grind solo queue next to them. And obviously Daystar coming in as well. So we have that kind of core from Kanga last year, adding me into the mix as well, and importing this, super strong Korean mid lane, talent. He's kind of all the hallmarks of a very strong laner. I bootcamped a bit in Korea last year, and within only 1 or 2 scrim games, it was clear to see that Daystar was everything that I saw when I was there. He's all of those incredibly mechanical, plays all of those right, champions for mid lane, especially in Korea, these lane dominant playstyles. But honestly, it feels like he just gets bored in solo queue and locks in whatever champion he wants, and he's still better than every other player in this region. So frankly, he's a champion ocean, like you guys have been saying on cast, a freak of nature, and honestly, just a lovely guy as well. So looking forward to playing alongside him. And with that, core from last year, all very strong, lovely players, and should be a beautiful team to play with, and hopefully, easy team to support this year as well.
Well, there you go. Now, give me the jungle juice. Why not? Okay. Tell me what champs we're going to be seeing in the jungle. What's meta at the moment? Are there any sleeper champs sort of, floating
Axiom
around
Arc?
at the moment? What's going on?
Yeah, I can't give you too much juice. I'm just gonna say if you've watched globally, you've had a very stale kind of bot lane meta, with this jungle meta being quite centric around like Wukong, Maokai, with this being this incredibly strong power pick. You see a couple of Viegos in here, a couple of Vi's, this kind of targeted lockdown with Maokai and Vi being very popular against some of these AD carries like Zeri. I'm not gonna tell you too much of my jungle juice. Perhaps you'll see some on stage tonight or tomorrow as we face the Direwolves. Don't want to give away too many draft advantages and competitive stuff, but I think jungle mid-centric, 2v2s, having a good matchup and ensuring you're playing that to the win conditions is very important, and hopefully you'll see that massively done tonight.
Most definitely, and best of luck for the mid jungle because there's such a centric role when it comes to the current meta at this moment. But like I mentioned, the Axiom Arc being buffed, I'm expecting some Kiana games from you, but of course we cannot leak the jungle juice. So I'm gonna let you go and have you prepare for your first ever LCO game, and of course, best of luck.
Thank you.
There we go.
Love that we can't leak.
No.
Any
Well, if
jungle
it's
juice.
not Kiana,
but
if
we
it's
can't,
not Kiana,
we can't
maybe it's
leak the
Nidalee.
Kiana.
You're still away from Babbitt
No
as
one
well.
knows that I play
Perhaps,
Nidalee
yeah.
or Kiana,
Yeah,
but I'm not
sure.
going to say that I might play Nidalee or Kiana
Okay.
at some point this split. Anyway, great to hear from him. And man, there is a few people that have come into the LCO that, you go into interviews, they hit you with, a couple of words. One
Two
was
words.
filled with words. He's been waiting for these opportunities, waiting for these interviews. Look, I can't wait to see where we're going to be going from here. At the moment, it's time for me to flip that coin. It's already been done, prepared it earlier. There you go, side select. Bliss get to choose. They're picking that blue side. So what I've been told from all these lovely individuals next to me is that side select kind of doesn't matter a lot right now. As opposed to last year, we sort of had this like blue side supremacy going on. But now it's more 50-50, isn't it, Rusty?
It's more flexible now for sure. Like red side still has the ability to counter pick at the end. So depending on how blue plays out draft, but one of the big things as to why the sides are more equal is how many blind pickable champions exist.
Yeah.
And right now the answer is a lot. Particularly in mid lane, you've got you could just slam Rise Syndra, no issues. Top lane's got a bunch of champions as well. Cassante, very easy to pick, first pick as well. And if anything flexes, things like Sylas, Wukong, etc., they can just be picked first and flexed. So that's why there's no distinct advantage. It comes down to a matter of preference, really above all else.
Okay.
For
Can
sure.
you give me a little report on what the support role's like right now, Kitty? Like, what are the good champs? What are we seeing? Do you know these two
So many
individual
fun
supports?
champs, right?
Well,
Are there fun champs?
I like to call 2023 or patch 13.1 the barrel effect because we know he's been pulling out a lot of freaky champions for the world stage, which include Heimerdinger and Ashe. We've also seen a lot of Jhin support in the LCK and very, very
Game one of the
questionable.
LEC was a Jhin, wasn't it?
Yeah, LEC as well. So you've seen a lot of questionable picks. I haven't seen them, pop off just quite yet. Maybe
Okay.
we'll see it continue in LCO. But I did want to mention when it comes to the blue and red side, it's all about the bot lane duos that we have available at the moment. And with Lucian and Nami, Zeri, Yumi being open as well, a lot of teams kind of draft around these champions if they are banned and available.
It makes me think, what would happen if Mboma was still here, if Lionel was still
I
playing?
know.
You
king.
It's-
That's
Isn't
what
it
This
his
I'm
was his
meta?
saying,
meta. It was
man.
his
Isn't
time.
it his meta? Like, where is
That's what
he?
I'm saying. He's making spreadsheets on tier lists.
Yes.
He's busy. He's busy cooking.
He's busy.
we'll
cooking.
let him. We'll let him cook though.
Let him cook. Hold up.
Is he free agent? Is he pick
He
upable?
is.
Presumably, yeah. I mean, he's also like the Heimerdinger, so it
He-
is surprising that he wasn't
yeah.
at least considered, or was considered but wasn't picked up
Okay.
for this split. But hey,
Well, I guess
we're
we'll
going to see Heimerdingers anyway, aren't we?
Well, I want to hear from you guys at home. It's Dare fan vote time. Let me know how you think this game's going to go. Is Team Bliss going to start their LCO tirade with the dub? Or are the returning champs just going to stomp them down like Why Not got stomped in that Twitter video earlier? Let us know. It's going to be up there, Kitty. There-ish. Get around there. Press that button. Put your points on. Get more points. Then you can have more points for later on. And then you can flex your points on Twitter from the fans at some point as
Very
well.
the price is right.
Our predictions. Hey, right up here. Look, predictions. How are we feeling?
I feel like you're Team Bliss. Oh,
I am.
classic Mac.
Couldn't have seen that one coming after the
no
first
idea.
place.
No.
No idea.
Little birdie told me that you may have gone with the team that stole your heart away, aka Why Not. So I'm sure your heart was beating when we were talking to Why Not.
Oh. Could you see the sweat? It was.
I could see the
swelling
sweat
up.
from here.
Yeah, it wasn't too good. But look, I'm giving him a W today. Either start with a big win or put myself on the back foot nice and early.
Why
so
not, mate?
why not? Why not? What are we
Yeah,
at?
why not?
Page 2.
Yeah, why
Page
not?
2. What are we doing? Rusty. Twitch chat. Twitch chat. You even have a little segment as well as Maximize, who doesn't get. Well, we should take pictures of all of his predictions, and then we have so much content when we actually
I'll
get
be
him on the
honest,
couch.
Mac, I've been so chess pilled that every time I see OO, I think of castles. And I can't get it out of my head because it's a chess move. That's maybe you don't get it, doesn't matter. I get it, and it's doing my head in.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
called castles.
I think of the K-pop song.
Is that just where you put the castle on the other
So
castle?
it's the king goes, switches with rook.
But what if Mac?
Castling.
What if
Oh,
Mac?
yeah.
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 Okay, well, I'm glad we got there.
I know that one.
Listen, it was
Is
a small
that called
quip.
an OO?
It's the symbol.
Anyway.
What if we
We're
replace
just
the
talking about
hyphen?
League of Legends. We're not supposed to
Replace
talk
the
about
I
other
thought it was a
games.
short quip.
Oh, whoa.
That's what
Oh, whoa.
We
becomes ooh, woo.
indirectly
becomes
made
2022.
Max say "owo."
Wow, this derailed faster than I intended.
Yes, bro.
Well, there's children.
Kitty's
in
got my
middle.
back.
We're talking about chess. They're talking about OO, uwu, all that stuff. Either way, look, Skimmy, he's going to cop a slap on the wrist at some point. But the game's
Backhand in
not
a
too
minute.
far away. Are there any, sleeper champs that a couple of these players might pocket pick? Do we expect Why Not to be pulling out the Kiana really early? Is there anyone else? Benvi, what's he specializing in?
I think Benvi is a very exceptional enchanter player, and like I said, the Yumi and Nami, if they are available in the first banning phase, he is a very good Nami from what we've seen back in Split 2 of LCO.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Lima's being such an aggressive player, we didn't see a lot of that, but we saw glimpses of it back in the splits. So definitely a duo that I want to see Lima's and Benvi on. But when it comes to that top side, Lived is such a good tank player, and he's kind of like a mini Biopanther at times.
Kind of, yeah. He also takes the preference for, like, if someone's going to dive him, he's going to take the dive on. Like, he's
Yep.
going to try and play
Yep.
that type of strategy, which is why Cassante existing is a direct lived buff.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that they will just pick, right? If that's going to be available. And, like, when I think of lived, I think of Mordekaiser because it does the same thing, right? They're so hard to dive. So
Sure.
that's something I'm expecting to see from them. And I think for all of Bliss Mac, they all probably have their own unique pocket picks. Daystar is the one weird one that we can't predict just yet. But like Benvi Bard, Limas has got Lucian Draven.
Yep.
Why Not has like the entire champion pool of jungle, even non-junglers. He might just pull out a Vayne and switch with Lived. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like so, I think they've got plenty of options.
I think it'd be quite exciting if they came out the gates guns blazing with like a ton of pocket picks day one up against the Chiefs, saying yes, it is up against the favorites, but like we're not afraid of you. Have at it.
Okay,
Be cool.
well, what about Bubbit? Because we haven't seen him play in a while. What's his champ pool like? Does where we are right now in the meta sort of favor his
I would say
picks?
so.
Yeah?
Sejuani, Zax, Malka, like anything engage heavy,
Yeah,
anything that
yeah.
can sort of like dictate the pacing of where he's going. I think anything that's going to allow Kisse to be an absolute psychopath, I think
Yep.
would probably be his role for sure.
And what's Kisse playing?
He could play the
All
Yone.
the matches.
He can play Yone if he needs to be aggressive. He could go for the typical control mage. I'm not sure if Chiefs will force him to go into like a tally role of like, hey, you need to be the Twisted Fate, Rise, Meta Madness, sort of like global presence, or if it's like, hey, we know you can be a lane dominant individual, play to that strength instead. I'm curious.
What about Silas? Because I'm remembering back to him absolutely popping off on Silas when Order was popping off last year. Is Silas meta at the moment, or is he still sort of always going to hang around because of his ult stealing?
Well, Silas is a viable option once the OP mid laners have been banned, like the Syndra, like the Rise. Okay. And I believe it's also Cassidy has been making his way back into the professional play around the world where people are banning him and blind picking Cassidy. So it's a very big threat when you want to pick the Silas, but it's definitely an okay champion. I wouldn't say it's that top tier compared to the Rise and Syndra, but you know, if you do pick up a Sejuani, it can work very well.
In terms of synergies, I'm looking at Babip, I'm looking at Kisei. I don't, on paper, it feels like they have just differing personalities, but I could be wrong. Have you guys seen them play in any of the scrims?
I mean, I think differing personalities works well when you think about, like, what are they going to play, right? Like, Babip does like a bit of a full clear, can play tank champions. That complements Kisei being able to play aggressively and win lane, right? Like if junglers are controlling each other. So like maybe they don't synergize perfectly, but I think that works. In the place that is a question mark for me is how do their opponents synergize? Like how does Why Not play around mid? How do they look? And how do they actually coordinate? Because at the moment, a lot of the game, like draft-wise, is like Caitlyn, Lux, Lucian, Nami, bot's so important early. And so you can't just play around mid. You try and like help mid through to bottom. So it's more like how do they like bring the rift down towards their bottom laners, because that's more important.
We're gonna get a classic where Biofemfer pushes out the wave and just like zooms into mid lane saying, Babip's not ganking your lane, I will. So I mean, I think it's gonna be a lot of lane pressure for sure in this game.
And we've also got Kuden back.
He's back.
Myron.
You Myron?
About Myron now.
Wait, it's not Ymirin?
Well, it's, I mean, you Myron, bro.
It's Ziz with the Riz. You Myron, bro?
He might say Myron, but I'm saying Myron. I don't think that's negotiable.
But the thing is, without Dragku on the team to sort of, reel him in a little bit.
True.
Who's going to be the one to control Myron?
Has to be Kisei.
Kisei?
Yeah, has to be Kisei. I know he's been going to the gym a little bit, so he can be the next Dragku, the next Dorito for Chiefs.
I know that, I feel like the way that the Chiefs operate is just going to be so different, with the new players coming in, without like Dragku there doing, the extra work. Aladoric gets to be the mainstay from the start of the year, so they've already, started to work on that chemistry. But like Kisei is just so much more explosive than what we ever saw from Tally. Tally was always sort of a bit more of a standoffish, slower, mage player. Would always, I'm thinking, when he was the Zill, every time
Zillion, Galio, like that type of, he had very supportive, like roaming type of vibes.
And that's not what I ever get from Kisei. I'm feeling Kisei is always just like, I want to be the star, I need to be mechanics maxing them, I need to be farming. So it's just going to be a completely different Chiefs to this year, and I can't wait to see how that operates up against like the likes of Bliss. Now, you say that Bio is going to be shoving the top lane, but you also said Lived is kind of like a mini Bio. So how's that top lane matchup going to be working?
Top lane recently, there's literally no action going on top lane. You pick the Jax up against Cassante and it's just tank bonking another tank, and until you get to that 25-minute mark when the items start coming in, it's all about that bot side, and it's all about how these early ADCs like Caitlyn, Lucian get ahead in terms of gold. But with that being said, Aladoric and Babip are back together, and I really like this duo because I feel like Aladoric has such a strong voice in the team. He makes the shots, he makes the calls on those dives. Where Babip is someone that's always been kind of, he's always followed the calls. He's not as, I guess, initiator as compared to Aladoric. So it's definitely a nice dynamic to have on the team, especially with Biopanther being, in my opinion, the best weak side top laner, which he can also do very well when it comes to those 1v2s.
To that point, I'm actually really curious, because if you think about it, what we saw a lot of the time was high praise shown towards Arthur and Aladoric working in tandem. How many times do we see like an Aladoric or a Khan jumping, followed up by a Wukong ultimate? It's just like 5 seconds of flat CC. You can't do anything. The same team killed him now. Race is like, thank you very much, right? There's a triple, there's a quadra served on a silver platter for me. So I think you've essentially got somebody who's been behind the scenes saying like, let's get it done as a championship roster. I'm coming in. Can you still do it? Well, the meta favors you. So surely you've already got the acquired synergy. Obviously, the pairing between Bio and Kisei, the bot lane already, Babip comes in. I think it's like synergies on that side. The Kanga boys of last year playing for Bliss. I think coming out the gates, they should be pretty hot, ready to showcase what they can do.
Well, I'm pretty hot, so I've got to jump backstage. The aircon's cranking back there, me and Kitty. We're going to be chilling because Champ Select's ready. Boys, take us in to Game 1 of 2023.
Thank you very much there, Mac and Kitty. Yes, finally we are back. It's been a very long time since the end of September, but we are back in business, ready to showcase what we can do. And are we surprised at all to see that Team Bliss are opting in for a Nami? They want some early game aggression.
Yeah, none of the bans so far have been surprising at all. Zeri taken away, Yuumi taken away. Maokai is one of the best junglers right now and is going to be removed. Wukong, of course, a very similar conversation to be had.
Yep.
Rise banned, Syndra not banned. Syndra definitely still pickable. Nami indicates a Lucian, but Vi indicates killing the Lucian very quickly.
Yep.
We often see Vi just immediately slammed into a Zeri though, right? Like something that is really slippery, hard to lock down. Lucian's a little bit closer range, so Vi doesn't necessarily need to be comboed with another champion that will like guarantee the lockdown. Just something that has damage follow-up would be nice to have. But ball in the Chiefs' court, I think, above all else, right? What are you going to pick as a bottom lane matchup? Because Aladoric, even during Enchanter metas, sometimes just says, it is Nautilus time.
I was just going to say.
You just cop it.
Absolutely. I mean, Kalista very flexible in what you compare it with, but if I think about a Lucian Nami combo, I always think about a Kalista and a Nautilus. Maybe you opt for something like a Serac, maybe an Enchantress and trying to match up to try and negate that space to make a Vi have as easy as the time as possible. But I would love to see him say, you've locked in a predictable bot lane, we're just slamming you before 6.
So Aladoric's been playing competitive League of Legends since 2019, and back then Nami was meta. And I have very vivid memories of, I believe it was Jake playing for Order at the time. Jakey.
Jakey,
yes.
Yeah,
Jakey playing for
the extraordinaire.
You'd know him.
I do know him.
For no particular reason.
He's very good.
Don't say it. But Aladoric was playing against him, and the rule of thumb was always, what beats Nami? The answer was Thresh. The answer was Thresh because it's a hook champion, right? So Thresh, Blitzcrank, and Nautilus are 3 options that are always going to be free with a Kalista to enable it. Leona, of course, can do a very similar idea, which is just being hyper-aggressive. And already proving that Aladoric said Enchanters, whatever.
I just want to engage. We just want to get amongst it. We want to start off fights. I want to be on the same page as the rest of my team and really find a whole bunch of action. I see the Gragas come out nice and early as well here in that first rotation. Seems to me that they want some really easy way to try and disengage, or at least for me, the biggest red flag, I suppose, comes the fact that Vi Assault and Battery's in, the Gragas cast comes down, splits the team apart, the Vi very squishy, just falls apart, isolated.
Yeah, I mean, Gragas, I know Wynard has been absolutely one-tricking Gragas for as long as he can the past week. As many games as I've seen of him have been basically Gragas first, other champions second. So I think it couples nicely with having kill threat with the mobility that's there. The issue is that right now there's no guaranteed lockdown, right? Contrasting that with Chiefs having a Vi and a Leona, you're locked down. The Vi presses R, you are getting locked down.
Yeah.
And then Leona follows through and you're stun locked. For Bliss, there's a bubble, dodgeable. Tidal Wave, dodgeable. Gragas cast can be evaded or pushed away to safety, right? So there's a much higher skill expression currently there on Bliss's side.
It certainly is, and I'm actually really liking the skill expression, or sort of the respect shown towards them in those next 2 follow-up bans. They've gone for the GP, the area denial. Think about a cannon barrage, how much work that would do, just try and stop the advancement that Chiefs would be putting together with somebody like a Vine Leona wanting to get in there with a very short-range Kalista AD carry. Then you combo that with a Yone, which could do phenomenal denial, obviously, with the shield, but it's the hacking and slashing, one of your favorite champions as we saw. So the response being Team Bliss say no Jax, no split push shenanigans that a Biopanther could pull off very adequately, as well as an Ahri, if any pick potential to really give them multiple options for this Vi to entertain.
Yeah, taking the Ahri away from Kisei, it feels like a very specific and targeted ban as well, because still a lot of good champions are up and available. I like the Cassante here. I mean, obvious choice, first and foremost, right? 4th pick. If it's flexible, it's even better. Again, I don't think I've seen it flexed yet. I'm just going to continue to float the idea of Cassante mid, because to me, it's tank Yasuo. Na has been a pretty standard matchup up in top lane as well. If the Jax isn't there, they've banned Jax themselves, Bliss. So you could just be seeing this one. A bit more volatile for the Na. Cassante with his 3rd Q being able to pull you back towards him. You've got some fragility there with the mini Na form. And this is a powerful option to kick off the season for Bliss, for Daystar, who we have been calling a very mechanical mid laner.
Yes, this is a huge statement. If you come out the gate saying there's so many control mages, so many mages that benefit from the idea of a Rod of Ages and a Seraph's Embrace, but no, Akali is number 1 on the list for me. The response here seemingly is a Kassadin to match it, and it really is going to be explosive action wherever we look. This will not be a quiet game from a kill count.
It certainly shouldn't be. I mean, bot lane hyper-aggressive from the Chiefs so far. Vi looking for those kills at 6. we've seen a lot of different Vi builds that we'll get into when we get into the game, because it has been quite creative and sometimes for the better, sometimes for the far worse. But we'll talk about that further. Kassadin as a response to the Akali. I feel like normally you see Kassadin into a control mage because Kassadin can weather that with the Q, having the magic shield, can get to level 6 and suddenly has kill threat. Akali is one of those weird matchups where I feel like they have equal kill threat on each other at 6, not just one way above the other. But pre-6, Akali can suffer from some energy issues with the high energy costs and has to expend a large cooldown on the Shroud to be able to win those trades, and that does open her up to ganks. And Vi is a uniquely suited ganker towards the mid lane with that Q charge.
Certainly is. And you think about all the other options that are left up and available for them to actually cycle through, right? Syndra, as you mentioned, you think of Azir. How many times did we see Azir absolutely batter a blind pick Akali last season, right? So there are options, there for Kise to try and present themselves with. He says, no, we're going to match pound for pound. And if this is to be, the two most gifted mechanical mid laners in this league, then they've really answered the call with those champion lock-ins.
Yeah, and I'm actually very interested towards mid lane's rune choices as well as item setup, see how they want to play this, because Kassadin wants to hit the 16, right? Can play passively, can play safe, can just scale up, but I don't think Daystar is the type of mid laner from what we've seen, at least in solo queue and in the tapes, to just go quietly and let a Kassadin scale. I have a very strong feeling that he's going to be looking for a couple of fights at all times. And if you can't find it mid, maybe he'll go elsewhere. But you're now looking towards a K'Sante lane. That's hard to dive. So again, I think a lot of the signs are pointing towards the bot lane 2v2, or at least having those champions involved, where we'll see a lot of the action.
And that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for action, for a bloodbath in day one. Welcome back to the LCO. Welcome back for 2023. We're right into the mix of things. This is looking like a potential first blood. Oh, the Rend with one extra auto attack, and that's first blood for the Chiefs. And I tell you what, it really is a battle in Brisbane as the newcomers in Team Bliss have been taken down a peg by the champions.
And now we didn't get to see exactly how that started, but the information that I can infer here, Skimmy, is the ward placed by Wynot is extremely shallow, and it might just be a matter of timing. I think as he went to walk around the corner, he was spotted by a Callista in melee range. Flash was used by both the Gragas and the Callista. End of the day, first blood for a Callista. She is one of the best level 1 champions in a dueling sense in the game. As you are currently seeing, Limas and Benji are going to be spotted, but it doesn't really mean too much.
It certainly doesn't, but a phenomenal start in the bot lane, given the amount of pressure that we should be hoping to expect. Early aggression really has been the mainstay of this pairing, Limas and Benvi, and what a phenomenal job that Benvi did when he came into Kanga late last season. Really ramped them up to make a successful effort in those playoffs. And it's great to see so many bot lane duos actually be preserved coming into this year as well across the board. So it's great to see some synergy, some rivalry, some conversations as to, okay, we are incredibly stacked in the AD carry department. Will those tier lists, will those discussions, will they actually get much of a change up this year?
Definitely a big question to ask. That, and of course the AD talent pool in general, Skimmy, is exceptionally high this year as we get through the rest of the games of the LCO day number 1. You will always see bot lane being a point of focus. First and foremost, as you are seeing down here, Lucian Nami, they're going to be able to guarantee themselves level 2 first. Ignite not there, Flash not there for Raze. So easier to essentially just abuse their natural strength as Wynot suffered level 1. A fantastic debut for Mr. Wynot into the LCO, isn't it?
It certainly is.
A minute into the game and he is dead.
Shaking off the nerves, right? I think, for him, it's a long time coming, right? He had that successful, perfect season with the Dire Cubs back in 2020. Been a sub for multiple teams over the years. Had a fake debut, if you will, right, as a sub for Legacy in 2021. But this is now a starting position, a chance to really showcase. Been a long time coming, but I do deserve to be here. So nerves out the way, first blood done. Time to see what can happen next.
And what I will say for Wynot specifically and for the bottom lane of Team Bliss is that you want to see them, I would say, ideally bounce this wave and start to build up towards them. Why not playing Gragas has Predator? He did a 3-camp clear into recall, which means a boots purchase, right? Because that's about 300 gold. And then clears his bot side to still hit his levels, but have the Predator for a gank. So that basically means right now he has more fighting strength than the Vi of Babip, who just did, well, 5 camps, but his full clear without a base. So it is definitely, at the very least, as you're seeing, guaranteeing that Scuttle Crab. But the bot lane of Limas and Benvi, they didn't get to crash and bounce the wave. It's been kind of held in a frozen position. And so they didn't really have the same luxuries of maybe threatening 2 fronts And Why Not has to just defend instead of ganking
He
himself.
certainly does. You could actually see Aladoric posturing a little bit there as both junglers collided, giving them the eyes in the sky, the awareness, the knowledge more so than anything that an engage does not need to happen right now, as that wave will be held in suspension for a bit of time. I guess the other big thing, obviously, a major change coming into this one is the accessibility towards jungle. Right now, they've got that mini game to upgrade not only their pet, but their smite as a result. You're always looking at the stack on whatever it is, the blue, the green, or the red smite option that they've gone for.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique mechanic as engage bottom.
Here we go. It's an Everfrost Leona. In they
straight
jump.
in.
Lemus wants to kill. He's popped the flash. He's popped the summoner heal, and that's enough. That's a
Oh,
delayed
no.
flash afterwards. That's a wasted summoner. But it's a kill all the same. It's the Lucian that picks it up, but it's the Nami, or rather the Leona that returns it.
It was so good until it was a flash for no reason afterwards. Maybe tries to get up by the skin of his teeth. Aladoric still had to flash himself there if he wanted to follow that one through. Wave in a fantastic position, however, for Limas and Benvi. And so while it is just a one-for-one trade, that is something that is favorable for experience and strength overall for Bliss.
Difference in summoners there. It's heal for the Nami as opposed to the ignite of that Leona. Ray still managed to hold on to his cleanse. So a potential opportunity for them to find a little bit of aggression here as they do make their way back towards that bot lane. Looking to try and crash this wave in themselves as Raze is back with those tier 2 boots, a unique AD carry in that discussion, needing to rush that one to make them a little bit more ease of access, if you will.
And for anyone who doesn't know Limas as well, he lives and breathes Lucian's play style. Can play a bunch of other champions for sure, right? Is a Draven, he can play Varus. I think we've seen him play things like the Ashen. He's serviceable on all of them, but Lucian is, at the moment, and has been for a while, one of his go-to champions. There's a little bit of a skirmish happening again in top lane.
Certainly on for it, aren't we, right there? Liv has level 6, Biopepper does not. He's in a lot of trouble right now. Going to try and weather that storm as much as he can. Doesn't want to use that charge to pull that Gnar back anytime soon. He's going to be forced to go back to base. Ghost expended. Liv's got everything.
And his Ghost, right, isn't the Flash. It wants to be able to keep chasing people down. And I think has enough mobility with the rest of his kit that he's opted into the Ghost and says that's more important. Engages bottom.
Here we go. Zenith Blade to start things off. That's a Babbitt without an
Nice
ultimate
bubble.
right now. Flash with the punch, and that's Raze to pick up that kill. In comes Why Not doing the exact same. There's the flash delayed again. That bush is cursed, Rusty. Some people just die. It is the Bermuda Triangle. Regardless, flash for flash, kill for kill, pound for pound we go. Babbitt's still living, but finally falls on down.
And he stops fighting. It's the correct choice. Akali and Kassadin fighting in mid-skimmy, but the wave is held in a pristine position for Limas to collect it. Constant skirmishes down in bottom. The waves continue to favor Bliss. Gold lead is only 500 in favor of Chiefs, even though they have that extra kill. And you could see blood in the water down here. Aladoric does not miss with these angles he finds, but the bubble connects as well. And that stops the immediate kill onto Limas. It buys time, and that's enough time for Raze to get bopped by a Gragas W. Can't be dodged by Flash like you highlighted. A little bit cursed, those flashes in bottom lane so far. Benvi, with the flash there, was trying to avoid the Via Q by flashing, but got CC locked very nicely by Aladoric, who knows the damage limits of Leona and doesn't have the Ignite, still had lethal and was confident enough to find it.
Certainly does. It's an incredibly fled Leona. I've seen this narrative play out sometime last year, an
We
8-kill
have.
Nami, and I'm thinking, all right, Ella, mate, calm
This is
down
like
a second.
6-minute Imperial Mandate Nami from memory.
He went from a tadpole into a giant tuna.
It was a Tom Kench level.
But this is what you want to see. All the aggression in that bot lane. Someone is only now starting to come back. And level 6 is not too far away. Blind bubble into that second bush. Aggression goes out. Zenith Blade. I think that's one he'll be grateful for not connecting on. He's down to 50%. Why Not only now going to be revealed. And Aladoric's got nothing. He's got to run
Bubble
away.
again.
The bubble is beautiful. The cask is better. And the kill donated to Limas.
And look, we said it in Champion Select, but high skill expression and also high difficulty of execution
Ooh.
in the composition of Team Bliss. But if it hits, it is so potent. One bubble finds its mark. Gragas ultimate comes through, casks him towards the team, and Aladoric is done for. Raze has to base. And look at the difference when all is said and done, Skimmy, down in this bottom lane. The CS differential is huge. The wave control is there. It's going to add up in experience as well. And you're seeing that really start to shine through positively as Babbitt finds them doing the Drake. But challenging it is a different conversation entirely.
So he is. They're going to have to settle for the second prize, which is a ward at this stage that they can clear out. First Drake now, Mountain taken off the ball, picked up here by Team Bliss. And I tell you what, there's been a lot said on social media in this bot lane, and they are really showcasing that these first 10 minutes, that's where you should keep your eyes firmly fixated on.
And suffice to say, 9 minutes in, the game's not over, right? Kassadin scaling even in mid lane. Kasante's going to be a powerhouse, especially that first item, right? Gets tanky but does such high damage when he goes into his gamer mode, or all-out mode as I guess it's officially called. I like gamer mode.
Gamer mode's nice.
It feels like, yeah, it just turns on the gamer mode. But does a whole lot of damage based on resistances and etc. as well. Is going to be potent, right? Chiefs still got plenty of opportunities here. The biggest takeaway that I want to highlight is that 9.5 minutes in, Bliss are going toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, and it feels like with relative ease. They're going strong where they're meant to be strong. Their Lucian Nami is dealing with the Kalista Leona, and that is strategically a major win for Bliss, because if the Kalista's ahead, it's so hard to play, right? The Lucian has to get creative to survive. Instead, he's prospering.
Certainly is, and it's only going to continue to get stronger and stronger. I remember back when we saw Ruler first play that incredible build with the Gale Force just one-tapping people from a million miles away. We saw Lemus bring that into action down here. And you're thinking, okay, Lemus and Lucian, it's a perfect harmony. It's a combo that we're going to see every single time it's afforded to them. And they might be involved in another play once again. Lemus going to receive that buff, but the mobility of a Kassadin not going to make it as easy as he'd have liked.
Yeah, just looking for a little bit of first strike money there as well, I think, above all else, right? Nami can slow you down, maybe throw the ultimate out to get a health advantage. All of that just to secure exactly what Why Not is hitting at the moment in that Herald, right? It's just mid-priority into a side objective. Benvi and Limas taking the safe pathway. Let's see how safe they continue to play.
Uh-oh.
Because the safe path is not that bush. If they were there,
He's got
you can see
Spidey
Vigilant,
senses.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
They know something's up. There's Raze is down here by himself, pushing
He's playing
a tower.
so aggressively. Why would he be afforded to do that if
It
somebody
smells
wasn't
funny.
waiting?
Something smells off in that jungle. Bit of timing, grace there, though, for Benvi, right? There was still a possibility of 2 of them in the bush, and he would have been by himself because Limas walked the safer path. Either way, survives. Kise, I wonder what he's maxing, because that Q looked like it did 10 damage total. We are unfortunately into a brief pause.
Unfortunately, indeed. We'll give you an update once we know more about this one, but as far as things go for the first 11 minutes, Rusty, I mean, this is phenomenal stuff from either side. I mean, really, it's what you'd love to see from a new team coming in with a breath of fresh ideas, showcasing that, hey, this is what we're about, this is what we can do. Yep, you're the champions, yeah, you're the favorites, yeah, you're looking to try and mount your assault to retain that trophy that you spent so long working your way back towards claiming once again. And it is no doubt going to be a rivalry that is going to remain in Brisbane. That's going to be plenty of banter between themselves, the players, the owners, and all involved. But
Tattoos on the line.
certainly are tattoos
Suffice
on the
to say,
line.
that's been publicly posted by them as well. I believe it is the winner of... Is it the head-to-head winner of the split between them or the winner of the split? How does that... I forget the exact mechanics of it.
It's been a hot minute. I think from memory it was, yeah, whoever won more between the two of them.
Yeah, head-to-head by the end of the split, I think.
I
it
believe
was.
so, yeah. We can definitely check afterwards. but
Speaking of, if anyone hasn't seen Aladoric's tweets towards Benvi on social media, there is some absolute
It's heat.
lava.
Absolutely. It is an eruption of spice to feast your eyes upon. But it really has all been about the bot lane so
looks
far.
like he's gaming right now, does he not?
He does.
Yeah, we're about to get back into the game just based off... That's an intense expression. Surely we're not in a pause with that
This
face.
intense pools comms.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Just thinking so intensely about his next move.
Back
Nah,
into
we're
the
back.
furnace.
We're back.
But I think otherwise, right? You mean top lane, we've had a little bit of a sniff in where Liv to showcase his ranged advantages. The Nah mid lane has been fairly negated as we kind of expected. Should be a relatively calm affair until at least, maybe 9-11. Those levels come online, right? Ultimates start to become that much stronger. You start to have the empowered abilities to really become a menace and just one-shot some squishy carries.
Absolutely massive breakpoints to look towards. And also, we should highlight this for anyone who hasn't been watching competitive or paid much attention to the Vi. The Kempunk Chainsword is basically the first item that they pick up full stop. We've been seeing a lot of ability haste rushing players, right, with this Vi. And the idea is you actually go insane with ability haste and cooldown reduction. You can even go support items as your mythic.
Good dash.
High pressure bottom. Babip is here to answer.
Really good dash. There's the bubble to ensure that this Herald will go down without that much of a defense being made. There's a defensive TP
Teleport.
from Daystar. He wants to try and make something happen. The culling is there merely to trim the wave. That much is Really to be sure of.
Yeah. I think Daystar just off base, right? Teleports bottom, just in case something happens. It does put him a lot closer in proximity than Kisei would have been. But at the same time, Kisei would have been very much aware and communicating that Daystar was in base with teleport. So him, of course, going towards mid lane, gets to crash a wave and gives him a wave of advantage. That's the Rod of Ages done. 13 minutes on the clock. Looking for 10 stacks until it's another free level. And then Kassadin's gamer mode, not Cassante, starts to engage as he gets closer to 16.
When I think of gamer mode, I just imagine, you know, he's got some music blasting in, the drop happens, he suddenly goes absolutely psycho mode. What are you thinking? Some absolute banger hardstyle song?
Yeah.
Comes on, the drop's happening, we have to team fight right now, I'm ganking.
Yeah, we're fighting no matter what. Like, it's do or die. Yep, that's definitely what Cassante does, to be fair.
I'm sure it would be.
You know, okay, so here's one thing that I don't think anyone knows about Cassante that we might hold this conversation depending on what happens with Daystar here. Nice charging.
This is looking very predictive. Oh, well, you can dodge that one, but you can't dodge this, and that's so much CC flipping his way out of that one. But ultimately, hold me from the pain.
Oh, he's been put on a poster.
We've paused the cask. That looks like it has been absolutely airballed.
You didn't see nothing.
Spectators like, hold this L for 2 seconds. Cut the VOD.
Yeah, very appropriate time for Babip to have a sip of the drink. And say,
Absolutely.
can you believe what's coming at us?
The flash Justice Punch misses, but I hit him with the ult instead. Far out. That was a lot of CC to take out Daystar.
Mr. Hyperextension over there is going to put a big stretch in.
He certainly is. Looking fresh in the Chiefs gaming house.
Just playing top lane.
He's vibing, isn't he?
Legend has it he doesn't need to actually put his hands on the keyboard to play Cassante successfully. It's just that simple.
Okay. Imagine if League ever gets to a stage where the technology is good enough that you can voice comms. Imagine you going like, hey Siri, blah, 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 right? You're just playing your game by voice comms.
Well, I like saying moves and it does the moves.
Absolutely. Imagine that's the future
Like
tech.
left, right, up, down, and it
Yes.
just does it.
Yes.
You'd have to have like 0 MS delay
Oh, for sure.
on the input.
This is the future, right? When we're all old and ugly,
Well, there'd be no team comms. Because that'd be terrible.
it's just all AI
Yeah.
at that point.
It needs to be thought-based, not communication-based.
Yeah, something along those lines. Once we've all got chips
Yeah.
in our heads and we're all just, you know, processors.
Yeah, I personally can't wait for that.
Suddenly some Doom energy starts to crawl in. Oh, how have we got here?
Yeah, people with ADHD in shambles
Absolutely.
when the thoughts in your head get acted upon instantly. Imagine working with that.
Yeah, it would be a little bit hectic. But not as hectic as this game so far. 2 pauses, unsure why, but the gameplay certainly is delivered. You know, what a great opening match to get everybody reacquainted with the LCO, what we do down under, and sort of some of the hallmarks of the new players coming in, showcasing their starts, but also, you know, a lot of those veterans coming back in as well and saying, hey, this is why we are the Kings of O's.
Yeah, Benvi Limas come out strong, but when all is said and done, it is the Kassadin lane that seems to be coming out even better. It is only 20 CS differential. There was plate secured by the side of the Chiefs, right in the hands of Ray's solo. Drake taken. You didn't see anything with that Gragas ultimate, I promise you, but it is on cooldown, and he's looking.
It's an all-in. Only on to why not at the moment. Raze with a double summon, a flash away, instant stopwatch to try and delay and try and bait out more so than anything some key spells, but so not enough for the rest of the team Bliss to try and back up their fallen jungler.
I mean, that felt like a little bit... So, okay, so if anyone doesn't know Why Not, right? You've probably heard his name here in Oceania, but you haven't seen him play competitively. Little tip, he's aggressive. No, big tip, he's aggressive all the time. So he's going to look for these plays, he's going to go forwards, even if backwards or, you know, taking Alidoric there was the best move. He started option for 2.
Oh, Babbitt! Well, dearie me. That is really a double buff.
Raise.
Lucian. Oh, okay! Okay, Limes! You might die to the tower more so than anything so far. Chiefs just can't answer back. There's a cleanse. It does nothing. The tower is a little bit too strong, and this Leona is continuing to get a little bit too fed. Far out. What was that in mid lane?
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy from Limas. Big respect, big ups for the success that it had as well. Goes forwards, finds the instant kill on a Babip. That is just a mispositioning from the jungler of the Chiefs, to be fair. Gets picked off very nicely. But that follow-up, the straight dive, the absolute confidence, knowing that essentially Alidoric was locked in front of Raze, so can't press the E. Finds the mark, finds the kill with the Q, and just rips them apart. I mean, Babip trying to clear the wave, right? But Gale Force is there. Nami Lucian is a menace to deal with. Culling comes through. The flash could be cleansed here. I would say better damage application could be put down onto Alidoric there, but I think in reality, they weren't ready for Bio to be in the area. They were looking to just get out with their life, which is why the heal was used, right? To create health, just to create space afterwards. and then just made the late decision to cleanse and go for the kill. Which good killer instinct.
It certainly is, and I think that's what Limes, no doubt, is famed for. He has the killer instinct. This is his bread and butter. This is his home. He'll certainly feel at ease making these plays. Look at Kisei, a very great flanking opportunity. Jumps straight on top of Limes. Lucian's in trouble. He has no summoners, but he's still living. Raze gets the first kill. Opens up this bloody affair. They're going to try and find a second, and it's Kisei that is finally rewarded. Handsomely so. Chiefs are bleeding. Bipanther disengaging away. Daystar wants to get a rowdy. He's not found a kill, he's not found an assist yet. A rather quiet Akali, but finally, level 11 is there for him.
Yeah, very quiet from the Akali thus far. Kisei gets active first, gets active faster. It's now 2-0-2 with a shutdown bounty. It's 12 out of 16 on the Kassadin clock. And Biopanther as well, the other big name that we have to talk about. The roam mid just before, a second one now. He's getting active, he's getting around the rift, and he still has the teleport in hand. Daystar is on the hunt. He doesn't know where Babip is. He's just going to find Biopanther and clear the wave. If he found the Vi, I think he goes in there and dives. An ultless Vi, very easy to outplay as Akali with flash.
No doubt, I reckon he would have taken that one. Hence why so much respect had to be shown there by Bebert to very quickly disengage away, especially with the sweeper active to reveal him in that top tri-bush.
This has been a great game so far. A really good way to debut the LCO's return for the 2023 season.
For sure.
For the single round robin. Remember, compared to last year's season, it's not a triple round robin, it is a single round robin. So you beat this team. If Bliss beat the Chiefs, that's permanent. They just have the win advantage. It's not something the Chiefs can win back. So form matters in every single game that you play.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as ramping up.
Which is a big shift.
For that seeding anyway.
Right, we went from a BO1 fair where suddenly, we went in the best form, we didn't have enough scrim time, the meta wasn't really favouring us, the synergy just wasn't working in that given week. Best of ones into best of threes into ultimate best of fives. It's a great way to get yourself more familiar and handsomely be rewarded for your efforts from start to finish.
We're waiting for Why Not here. The trap has been set. The bait is there. A big red buff on the lure. Benvi working with Why Not. Raptors come first. Aladoric gets spotted. So Babip just going to try and take this one. And I think perhaps because he's by himself, it'll take too long. And there was a world that the Nami and the Gragas face check together, but they just don't really want to play towards that bot side.
Yeah,
All things considered though, Skimmy, the Drake is up in 20 seconds, and it is one apiece. So it's not exactly an early condition to play towards above towers right now.
No. I do like what they were doing. Aladoric shielding Babip as he went for the vision. Explosive cast goes out once again, raising a whole world of trouble. He can't do anything, man. 20 seconds and that flash was up. And he wishes he had it right there and then.
And this is just, like, this is something that will be repeated. We spoke about this earlier, right? For the Kalista side, if they get ahead early, Lucian struggles. But a Lucian Nami that's ahead, you actually don't get to post up in mid lane and just play an equal farming 2v2.
Yeah.
Because a single time, if you position 100 units too far forwards, you just get cullinged on, right?
Yep.
Like, and immediately taken down because Nami buffs that, and then they dash forwards, Gale forced to lock you down no matter what. It's a rapid fire cannon, which is not often rushed.
I mean, this is best in slot now, really, isn't it, for the Lucian as well as the Kassadin? They've got those two major power spikes early on to become an absolute menace in these major skirmishes. And we're staring down the barrel of a potential big team fight now. Bipanther goes to stop for a second. Aladoric split from the rest of the team. Kisei still farming mid-wave. Raze now respawning. Dragon still leashed. In they jump. Nah goes out. He's gone back to mini. In goes to Salt Battery looking for the kill. Solar Flare onto top of two. The Dragon is a passenger that kills. They're all going the way of Chiefs right now. It's an absolute decimation here. The fadeaway spear wasn't enough. Just out of range to try and tickle Limes, but you can't run from death when a Kassadin is coming for you.
Kisei essentially says, I'm inevitable. 650 gold shutdown, a 5-0-4 scoreline, locks in the ace for the Chiefs, and they'll just run straight over to the Baron buff. Very nicely done by the team that you expect to be good at team fighting in the Chiefs. I think Bliss just caught a little bit around the fact that this Drake is something that they wanted to do. The teleport comes in fast. Limas is here first. They're grouped first. But you just can't kill Cassante, first of all. It's an assassin Akali trying to deal damage, while the rest of the team goes at Aladoric. And so the reinforcements get here. Mega Gnar was about to run out, so Liv just makes a really bad Gnar ult by force. And the Chiefs force this fight by just playing patiently, playing slow, waiting for Raze to get here, waiting for Kisei to get here. And it's just that simple. Time was on their side. And as the Meganar ticked over, it felt like the clock struck midnight and Bliss could not win.
I just felt like Bliss had all the opportunities, all the advantages in that moment, but they stayed clumped up a little bit too long. Did it really open up the opportunity for Chiefs to answer back within those high CD windows? Perfect timing as well, it must be added. 20 minutes on the clock, they pick up a dragon, they go straight to the spawning of Baron topside. And suddenly now they're creating some daylight between these two in overall gold.
And the thing is, and this is obviously very easy for us to say, but it's a hindsight conversation because the Drake might be free. Hang on. Bio taking a lot of damage.
He's dead for sure here.
Wow.
Wynos is going to walk in and deny Daystar of that first kill here in the LCO, but it's a pick in the sides.
They're going to ult.
That's the Baron buff removed. In we go again. Oh my god, Benvi popped. He's gone. That's illegal.
Lived comes over the wall, tries to protect Limas. Babip was probably 100 units away, so a Teemo's length off getting the ultimate down onto Limas. And Akali could, a Kassadin could follow through. But speaking of that Akali, Herald summon top lane. Why not? No hesitation, makes the play towards his mid laner.
Yeah.
They get the pick. And it's hard to recognize windows where a Cassante feels killable, but they found it. Daystar with a big Magic Pen item spike.
Daystar's in trouble here. Wynot's boosting up top lane to try and answer back, but Chiefs are here a little bit too quickly, a little bit too
got so much mana.
ready to rock and roll in a 3v2 it will be. I think Wynot says, actually, you're on your own. Just buy as much time as you can.
Babip has ult. He just doesn't want to use it.
For sure, it's a done deal. They don't want to greed anything. They don't want to waste any ultimate if they don't need to. It was a easy pickup ultimately.
A couple of signs here, Skimmy, I think, of just either nerves or mistakes, realistically, right, by Daystar. That's an Akali who has the inner turret, but stays for a wave, right? Doesn't just back away, doesn't recognize when they could be there, just gets picked off.
Looked like greening for the inner.
Yeah, it felt like just a little bit too far
One
for
extra
greed.
charge.
And the question remains on, is that worth it? Because Babip gets to keep the ult, and they get to play like this
Oh,
in
we're
mid.
in. Aladoric missed the ult, only gets a slow-mo
Aladoric.
stun, but still, I says I want it. Ooh. That means he gets chucked out by Kalista. How OP is Fate's End? In they go again, he's still taking up the turret. Leona just won't die. And they managed to find a kill. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Teleports are coming through.
TP from the flank. Daystar hunting for kills. He might be nervous, he might be new, but he needs to get some action on the board right now. He's up against an incredibly fed Kassadin. Kassadin finds another one. Now godlike at 7-0-5, but it is one answered back. That's Daystar trying to find a second, but Raze removes him in a 1v1. And it's capitulation here for Bliss. It was so close, so good in the first 10 minutes, but Chiefs are demonstrating why they are the champions.
I mean, Bliss discovering very quickly why Kassadin is far too powerful. Daystar misses his E, misses the Shuriken, doesn't get raised, loses the 1v1 to the Kalista. Meanwhile, Kisei just tears them apart. Just piece by piece. Gets to play his assassin, gets to play completely free of inhibitions, is 8-0-5 and is supported by the squad. Aladoric, way too far, but has a Kalista. And so it's no longer going to be too far. He's not going to die here for free. The Gragas ultimate brings Babip in, but he cancels the culling by being able to use the ultimate himself and batters Limas's head. Ignite going to secure that kill onto Why Not. With these teleports coming through, you're expecting big things. Lived is about to tick Mega. The timing's perfect to get a collapse, but he hopped that wall. And he's stuck dealing with Biopanther. And Daystar hits R2, misses the E. Raze just wins this now. And perhaps the best call was to go press E2 back towards your Shroud, right? And get away and disengage. But where are you going to disengage to? Your team's dead. They've just discovered Cassante Kassadin.
Yeah. In we go again. We're looking for more right now. Babbitt the focus so far, but in jumps more. Looking for more action. Elador knocked up with a bubble, but the rest of the team still there. Look at Kisei. He's looking for double digits. He can win the game on his own right now. Level 18, not too far away. The highest damage, the highest levels, the highest kill participation. This guy says, I am the new mid lane of the Chiefs. It's my second stint, and this one is going to be just a little bit sweeter. There is the ace.
Yeah, they just can't stop Kisei. He's unrelenting. He's going to constantly fight. The free quadra there for the Kassadin, and that should be more than enough to break this game wide open and complete the 1-0 in favor of Chiefs. Kick off the LCO with a clean victory and say they are our first seed.
Phenomenal for good reason too. There is the ace, there is the ending, there is a 25-minute shellacking, if you will. Shout out to Jake Spawn. Another season, but another same outcome. Chiefs is a little bit too good on the day.
Solid early game from Bliss. I would say a competitive mid game from them as well, but realistically a couple of mistakes, a couple of small decisions that go awry. Chiefs are a caliber of team, a class of team that will punish you if you make those mistakes. And with no hesitation, it happens. I think mid-game drawing board to be looked at from Bliss, because in the end, they had, I would say, a big point of power through their bot lane, through their 2v2, that never got utilized because they were the ones being pressured, other than the occasional pick.
And I think that's going to be the thing that probably sticks with them the most and stings really the most there, Mac, is the fact that you had like a 30-40 CS lead over Raze and Aladoric, who are ultimately falling behind in those early portions, but once again showing their class, the way that they can become relevant and come back in for that mid game.
It was interesting, right? Like that bot lane, I think Kitty has a little bit to say about it. The dynamic of what was going on with the summoner spells made it a bit easier for Bliss, especially towards the early game. But then throughout the mid game, I think why not, as you mentioned during the broadcast, got a little bit aggressive a few times there. He saw angles, right? He saw some angles. He went for him. Full respect for going for him. And that's a great way to start your LCO career. Unfortunately, it came with an L, but it was up against Chiefs anyway.
We definitely saw glimpses of hope for Team Bliss, and especially with Lima's having such a banger performance on the Lucian, especially in that early game. But the solo laners weren't really showing up in those team fights, specifically like Rusty was saying, a lot of mechanical mistakes coming out of Daystar on the Akali. But to be fair, Kisei was an absolute monster on that Cassin. I believe he was level 17 by the end of the game, and Lucian was level 12. But of course, congratulations to the Chiefs for bringing back their perhaps perfect streak once again, starting it up like that.
Saying it early.
Going in.
It's a possibility, all right? It's a possibility. That's one game. There's still however many to go.
Also harder to stay perfect when there's best ofs coming up. Yeah,
true.
That's a bit harder when teams can throw some weird things at you in a best of series.
Which makes it that much more interesting, right?
Yeah, okay, so now we get to see the replay of the game. I wanted to highlight that Chief Raze, he opted into the cleanse into the Lucian Nami, where he burnt Flash very early on to get that level 1 kill into Why Not, where back in bot lane where the 2v2 happened, he had a cleanse up against a heal and cleanse on Lucian and Nami. So he technically had no summoner spells. So that's kind of the reason why he lost the 2v2. And that really snowballed into a huge lead for Team Bliss. But a lot of overstepping from the side of Bliss, because we saw the Lucian going for those crazy picks, and we also saw Why Not just kind of getting caught in the jungle.
Can you elaborate on why having cleanse is like having no summoner spell for people
Because having cleanse up against a heal, usually you want to predict that the Lucian might take an ignite or an exhaust, but if you take cleanse up against heal and cleanse, you're getting no value, especially if you look at the team comp of Team Bliss. They don't have a lot of CC or any hard CC that you can make that cleanse up to use. But talking more about this game, so Akali was definitely struggling this entire game. Daystar, although we have said that he is a very mechanical player when it comes to these assassin champions, it just wasn't too great into the team comp of Chiefs, because we see Cassandra, we see Vi, we also have a Leona. How do you function as an assassin into such CC heavy champions?
Great question. Great question. You just don't. And have a look at the gold graph. That's pretty good up until the 20-minute mark, where it started to go in Chiefs' favour. Bliss doing a really good job for their first performance here in the LCO. I'm looking at those, the team comps. Is there anything that you thought was a little bit odd, Rusty, or were you kind of happy with how
I mean, I think it's just a really close range comp, and it feels very snowbally, right? Like Bliss were relying on getting an early lead so they could execute their comp, and it was obviously a lot harder to execute. Like for me, this game, you just look at that Cloud Drake and you say that was when everything went wrong.
Yeah.
Like why go for the Cloud Drake? Why all in on it? Did they mistime it, in their mind? Or was it because 3 of them started chasing a Leona instead of hitting the Drake? I would say that's maybe a bigger problem. But they just, they got an idea in their head and then they did different things, which is a sign of a new team, right? But that's to be expected. And I think that's just a very clear point to look at.
And of course, it's Chiefs, and their team fighting was immaculate. Although the early game may have not been as successful for them, but they still had the right idea in their heads. But I wanted to mention that Cassidy damage, he was level 16 with a Rabadon's at 23 minutes into the game. And if you can't deal with a champion like Cassidy, and he's such a broken pick in the current meta with the Seraphs and Roa available in that item slot, maybe we have to start seeing some Cassidy bans if you don't have an answer for it.
Very true. Well, maybe we've got to see some Bio Panther on our screens, because we've got the winner's interview here, and we got Bio, who did win today. Bio, let me know, how's it feel to be on the Chiefs? How's it feel to start off your season with a win?
Oh, it feels really nice, especially when I'm playing with Kisei. I just know him in and out, so these drafts are very predictable. I know he's going to do a greedy pick on 5, so I wanted him to be as facilitate him as possible. So that was the game plan going into it. And they just didn't expect the Kassadin, so it was really like a free win, to be honest.
They definitely did not expect the level 16 Kassadin at 23 minutes. But
Yeah.
what's the feedback for the team? Because we did see you guys struggle in that early game, especially for the Callista and Leona.
Yeah, it was really rough because like when we 5P Kassadin, like both our sides literally Narc and perma push me, and like we have like no threat. So like we just have to keep like hovering and protecting our bot side, and like just keep like giving, and just like making sure that like Kassadin. I even said mid game, Kassadin just eat my top waves. Like I don't even care. Like once he gets rod, like I want him to like boost his levels as much as possible. So once he gets like 16, like once he gets like 10 stacks on rod and like reaches 16, the game is over. So like we just have to play team fights better and like just stabilize Lucian Army. Because if Lucian Army can't dash on mid, we should be winning.
Who's doing the shot calling at the moment? Because we know you were very vocal coming out of order. We know Aladoric's pretty bloody vocal doing the shot calling in the support role. Who's the biggest voice in the team at the moment and calling those shots?
4v5 with people like.
I think Babu, because like we kind of like it's just the jungler's role. Like it just seems like he can like see everything. So like it's just more like it's more comfortable for him. So like I feel like he just plays better that way. So I feel like he's the biggest shot caller on our team.
Very interesting. He was also given the Vice. So what are your thoughts on the current meta so far? We saw the top lane being, I believe, only 1 KP by around the 20-minute mark. It was really boring. So how are you enjoying it so far?
I think like it's interesting, but like the bot meta like really dictates everything. For example, like if I'm versing Lucian Zeri, I can't be picking Aatrox. I can't be picking, but like if I'm versing like Varus or Draven, I can pick Aatrox. You know, like bot lane really dictates every champ that I can pick. So like once like you know a team's tendencies of like what to pick, you kind of just pick around it and make sure that like second phase you just ban like the counters so then your team comp can outscale. I feel like bot is like dictates all the other champs in the metas.
We definitely saw a lot of fighting in that bot lane, especially for the first 15 minutes. But congratulations on picking your first win of Split 1.
Thank you
And
so
hopefully we get to see this performance continue and you guys get a perfect streak with the Chiefs once again.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to.
No pressure.
Shout out to the second interviewee there in Babip as well, VOD reviewing for us in the back.
Like, who's the most vocal? You just hear him actually going
I
on.
wonder. Yeah. So
It's the
look, I guess
Coach
we'll
Jeans.
get Babip in next time for the interview because it seemed like he wanted to be in for that one anyway. But look, Dare MVP discussion time.
Kiss
Who
A.
are we feeling from that game? I'm feeling a Kiss A. You feeling a Kiss A?
Feeling kissy.
Yeah. Kissy? Little kissy?
Little Ron.
Little kissy for little Ron? Look, the amount of times, so if you go back to the replays, mentally, because we're not going to do it for you, sorry guys, but the amount of times a team fight changed when Kisei had like a flank coming or was like late to the party, but as soon as he jumps in, you just watch them all explode. Like, he has to be the Dare MVP.
Yeah,
So.
even if he wasn't late, he was before Daystar, right? Like, even if he was late, he was before Daystar. So it was just outperforming, which is, like, when we say Daystar's a top 2 mid, we would say Kisei's number 1. And I think that just got proven with authority in the first game.
Yeah, there were a lot of questions in the other years about Kisei, but no questions right now. He's slotting straight into Chiefs, and that's why he's going to be your first Dare MVP of the LCO 2023 season. There you go, 12-0-6, keeping it flawless, keeping it looking nice with 72% KP and 43% of the damage share. They're high numbers.
I mean, honestly, I think any Kassadin player will say it's the perfect game. To do in a pro game as well, the cherry on top. Unbelievable gameplay there to be more aggressive, to be more active, to out-rotate an Akali, to showcase why people are giving you this much high praise. I mean, yeah, what else can you say to describe how beautiful that performance was?
Yeah, the perfect game for a Kassadin. And something that I picked up was quite interesting was that he decided to go with the Lucidity boots on the Kassadin when normally we see the Sork boots on Kassadin. That kind of gets back to the debate about how Serat and Roa in these days, this day and age doesn't provide enough AP. So a lot of Kassadins decide to opt into a lot of pen. But in this game, he decided to just go with Lucidity.
Why not, right? Get that
Why
extra
not?
ability haste. We're seeing people build tanks at the moment on these meta mid laners as well, right? Rise's third items are frozen hard again.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we're going back to just doing as much as we possibly can, not doing
40-minute
damage.
games.
Yeah, a couple of resident sleep.
Now look, I need to let you guys know that game number 2, the best of the West, that's coming up very shortly. We got PGG, we got GZ. Give me your quick thoughts on them, because GZ, they've got the dog coming back. They've got Dante. They've brought him over, and they released some content already, which is pretty good. Some good signs in terms of the content department. But can they back it up with their gameplay?